This video is coming to you as a request from a subscriber on a Sunday morning, and it's not just any Sunday morning. Football starts today, so don't you dare say I never did anything for you, but I got you. You got a test tomorrow, let's prep you for it. Okay, so we've got three terms, 1, 2, 3, a trinomial being multiplied by 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. We would call that a polynomial. And if you think about it, we're gonna have to distribute. You can think about it as taking that term and distributing it to all 4 of the terms in the second polynomial. Okay, you'll have to also do that with 3x and with 4. So if this is multiplying by 4 terms, this is multiplying by 4 terms, and this is multiplying by 4 terms, you're gonna get a total of 12 terms at the end. So if you think about this grid that I created, I have 1, 2, 3 rows, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 columns. This is gonna help me organize. So anytime I tell my students, if we've got this much going on, if you're gonna just write down each and every term that you get, you're just gonna get this long line, right? And it's gonna be really hard to see what each term is just because there's so much going on. So keep it organized, make a grid for something like this. This is very different than a binomial times another binomial. X plus 4 times 3x minus 9. Something like that, you're gonna only end up with 4 terms. So you can just simply write those 4 terms down and combine them. It's much easier to find like terms once you grid it out like this. So that's just a recommendation. By no means do you have to do that. Okay, so how do we go about this? We're just multiplying each and every term. So we got 2x squared times 6x cubed. That's 2 times 6. We all know that's 12. X squared times x to the third. Remember, we wanna add those exponents, so we're gonna get x to the 5th there. Okay, moving on. 2 times 2 is 4. X squared times x is going to give me x to the third. 2 times 7, y. So we got 2 times 7 is 14. X squared times y would just be x squared y. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. Keep that x squared attached. Okay, so we've got taken care of our first row. Now we're just going to do that exact same thing, but instead of 2x squared, we're multiplying 3x times each one of these terms. 3x times 6x cubed, that's going to give me 18x to the 4th. 3 times 2 is 6. X times x is x squared. 3 times 7 is 21. X times y is xy. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. X times nothing is just an x. Now we do the 4 times each of these 4 terms. 4 times 6, 24. With an x cubed, because of the x cubed there. 4 times 2 is 8. Keep the x attached. 4 times 7y, that's going to give me 28y. 4 times negative 3, negative 12. All right. Now we've got a bunch of terms. All we're doing is looking for the ones that have the same variable and the same exponents. They have to be exact matches. Okay, so here we got, do I have any other terms with just a y? Doesn't look like it. Do I have any terms that are just x squared? Well, we've got this one here, and we've got this one here. Interesting. Oh, and they're inverses of each other. Positive 6, negative 6. Well, if I were to combine those, I'd get a 0. Right? A positive 6 with a negative 6 gives me a 0. And the reason I'm combining them is because they have the same variable, x, and the same exponent, 2. And remember, we're going to get 0, so I'm just going to cancel those out. Those are going to make each other go away. All right, do I have any terms with just an x? No, that's x cubed, that's x to the 4th, that's x to the 5th. Ooh, but I see an x cubed with another x cubed that I could put together. Okay, we're going to have to combine those. So let's just write this down right now. What is 24x cubed combined with the 4x cubed? Well, 24 plus 4 gives me 28x cubed. Okay, those have been combined. Once I do the combination of them, I like to scratch them off just so I have less boxes that I'm looking for. Okay, any other matches that we see? I got an x to the 4th. Do I see any other x to the 4ths? No, I got just an x. Do I see any other x's alone? Yes, right here. Okay, so negative 9x and 8x. Well, what's an 8 plus a negative 9? That's going to be a negative 1x. I'll put the 1 there, but typically, and we're not going to show that 1, right? We can just say negative x. So just to show you, there is technically a 1 there because 8 minus 9 is -1, but just negative x is all that needs to be written. Okay, we got an x to the 4th and x to the 5th. Those don't match. No matches with those over here. Remember, these are gone already. We've taken care of combining those. X squared y, xy, y, and a constant. So nothing else matches here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take our highest degree, x to the 5th. We're going to put that in the front, 12x to the 5th. Next degree down would be x to the 4th, so that'd be positive 18x to the 4th. Looks like x cubed would be next, so we're going to add that in. We've taken care of this, we've taken care of that. They're copied down right there. These came from combining all of this. We got an x squared y, so we're going to say plus 14x squared y. I have this minus x here, which I want to put a little farther down because I'm going to put the xy term down first. So I'm just going to erase this. We'll put it down in just a second. The next one down would be 21xy plus 21xy. Then I can put down my minus x that I had just erased. We've taken care of this, we've taken care of this. They're copied down right here. Then we're going to put down positive 28y and our constant at the end of minus 12. Go back through, there's a lot going on, so I would always recommend double checking, making sure each and every box was scratched at some point throughout your process. Looks like I hit them all, and we are good. So we went from 3 terms times 4 terms, which gives us 12 terms, but then we had to combine a few of them. Keep in mind, remember we had an x term combined with an x term and made it 2 terms into 1. Those 2 terms just went away completely. They canceled each other out. Okay, so we ended up with a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 terms total. Okay, so you are dealing with a polynomial here at the end because you have so many terms. That's what you would call this. Okay, sometimes you may not have anything that can combine. All right, and that's typical. So just be aware of this. You're gonna have a lot going on. That's why I have you make the boxes. I tell my students, it just keeps things organized, makes your life a little bit simpler, okay? These don't have to be multiplied by 4 terms. You could do it by 5. So if we were taking 3 terms, multiplying by 5 terms, how many total terms should I get at the end before I combine? Well, remember 3 times 4 terms gave us 12, so if we have 3 times 5 terms, expect to get 15 total boxes filled out, but keep in mind some of those may combine and bring your total answer down. Like terms just mean 5, x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. The only other type of term I can combine this with is something x to the 5th, y to the 3rd. This has to match, and so do my variables. Hopefully this makes sense. Study hard. You're going to do great on your test tomorrow. Reach back out to me. I'd love to know what your score was on your test once you get it back. All right. You guys got this. Good luck.